There are verses in the Quran that do not merely speak to the mind, they touch the nerve of the soul. Verses that quietly ask you a terrifying question. What if your idea of salvation is an illusion you inherited, not a truth you lived? Surah Al-Baqarah verses 80 to 82 are among those verses. They expose a subtle spiritual disease that lives not only in ancient communities, but in every human heart. False hope without inner transformation. If you listen carefully, you may feel a tightening in the chest, a warmth in the spine, or a strange unease. Because these verses are not only talking about them, they are also speaking to us. Verse 80, and they say, "The fire will not touch us except for a few numbered days." Say, have you taken a covenant from Allah, so Allah will never break his covenant? Or do you say about Allah what you do not know? And they say, the verse does not begin with truth, but with what people say. In the Sufi path, this distinction is crucial. Much of religion lives on the tongue, not in the heart. Saying is easy, being is rare. The ego survives comfortably on statements, slogans, and inherited beliefs. The nafs loves sentences that protect it from accountability. You can almost feel the subtle warning here. Be careful of spiritual talk that costs nothing. The fire will not touch us except for a few numbered days. This is not merely a claim about hell. Mystically, fire symbolizes the burning reality of truth, exposure, purification, consequence. To say it will touch us only briefly is to say, we can afford to live carelessly. There will be no deep reckoning. In Sufi language, this is false security. It is the soul whispering to itself, God is merciful, so I don't need to change. Here, many listeners feel a quiet discomfort because this voice sounds familiar. The phrase few numbered days is especially telling. The ego always minimizes consequence. It shrinks accountability. It negotiates with the infinite using cheap mathematics. Say, have you taken a covenant from Allah? Now the divine interrupts the illusion with a sharp surgical question. Not an accusation, a question. A covenant in Sufi understanding is not a verbal promise. It is an existential alignment. It is when the heart, the actions, and the intention move in one direction. The verse asks, did God himself guarantee this exemption? Because if he did not, then where did this confidence come from? At this moment, the listener may feel something shift inward, like a veil being gently pulled aside. So Allah will never break his covenant. Allah never breaks his promise. But beware. Allah's promises are tied to realities, not fantasies. Mercy is real, but it flows through transformation, repentance, and sincerity, not entitlement. Sufis say, do not rely on mercy while clinging to disobedience. Rely on mercy while walking toward obedience. Do you say about Allah what you do not know? This is the most dangerous spiritual crime, projecting your ego onto God. To imagine God according to your convenience is to worship a reflection of yourself. This phrase lands like a soft thunderbolt. Many feel it in the throat because it exposes how casually humans speak about the divine, without knowledge, without awe, without trembling. Verse 81, yes, indeed, whoever earns evil and is surrounded by his sin, those are the companions of the fire. They will remain therein. Yes, indeed. In Arabic, this is a firm correction, like saying, wake up. All illusions are now set aside. Reality is speaking. Whoever earns evil, notice the precision, earns. Evil is not accidental here. It is cultivated, repeated, chosen. In Sufi psychology, repeated actions carve pathways in the soul. What you practice becomes your nature. Sin, when repeated without remorse, stops being an act and becomes an identity, and is surrounded by his sin. This is one of the most profound spiritual images in the Quran. Sin is no longer something you do. It becomes something you live inside. Like smoke filling a room, it surrounds perception, judgment, and desire. The heart can no longer see clearly. Many listeners feel a heaviness in the chest here because they recognize how habits quietly build spiritual prisons. The fire in this sense is not merely future punishment, it is an inner state, a soul trapped inside itself. Those are the companions of the fire. Companions, not prisoners. This is terrifying in its subtlety. It means they have grown familiar with what burns them. They no longer resist it. Sufis say, hell is not always entered by force. Sometimes it is entered by attachment. They will remain therein. Eternity here is not about time alone. It is about state. When a soul refuses transformation, it locks itself into repetition. Without repentance, without awakening, there is no movement, only continuation. Verse 82. But those who believe and do righteous deeds, those are the companions of paradise. They will remain therein. After severity comes balance. After warning comes hope. But those who believe here is not ideology. In Sufi understanding, Iman is a living certainty that reshapes behavior. It is when the heart leans toward God, even when the ego resists. True belief softens the body. It relaxes the shoulders. It brings humility into the breath. And do righteous deeds. Belief that does not move the hands is incomplete. Action polishes belief. Deeds ground spirituality in reality. Sufis insist, love is proven by obedience, not poetry. Those are the companions of paradise. Again, companions. Paradise is not just a destination. It is a relationship. It is the soul at ease with truth, no longer divided, no longer at war with itself. Listeners often feel warmth here, an opening, a subtle relief, because the Quran never leaves the heart without a door. They will remain therein. Here is the mirror of the earlier warning. Permanence belongs to those who align inwardly and outwardly with the divine. Paradise mystically begins in the heart that has surrendered. Closing reflection. These verses are not about one community, one era, or one belief system. They are about the illusion of spiritual entitlement versus the reality of inner transformation. They ask you, not harshly, but honestly, are you relying on hope without change? Or are you walking, trembling and sincere, toward the truth? If you felt moments of discomfort, warmth, tightness, or stillness while listening, know that this is not coincidence. The Quran speaks to the body as much as to the mind. If this reflection stirred something within you, if even one sentence made you pause, breathe differently, or question yourself, then stay with this journey. Subscribe, reflect, and return. The Quran reveals new meanings only to hearts that keep listening.